All right. Speaking of all my friends, excuse me. Speaking of all my friends, all right. So now I'm out as a gay man, and I have come out as a recovering drug addict. What do you think was harder for you to accept?
Well, I I never had any clue. Again, I don't know where I was.
Where were you?
I know. You hid beautifully that the fact that you had a problem with drugs and alcohol. I mean, I never, honestly, that was a big shock, a huge shock. I don't know, probably is almost as big as being gay. But, you know, you're asking which is harder?
What are you more embarrassed about?
I'm not embarrassed at all. I'm proud of you that you have, dealt with this problem with drugs and alcohol that, like I said, wasn't aware of. I'm very proud, and it's just that you have come out of this and still work at it daily. I think it's wonderful. So.
You came to a meeting with me tonight where you met a lot of my friends. How did you feel when you were there? Because I'm sure at times you escaped into the stories of the people that were speaking. But how did it feel when you would come to terms with that was your son involved in the stories that you were hearing?
Well, again, I don't feel any shame. I feel proud. And I'm thankful that, everything you were doing, didn't do permanent damage to you. I mean, I feel very lucky. So but as far as shame,
speaking
no
of permanent
shame.
damage, I think that you're probably referring to HIV or.
That scares me and always has. But I pray that you will continue being careful and.
Well, the first thing you told me was, or what was your main worry was that I would catch the AIDS or.
Right, and that was. I mean, I have since learned a lot about it. And then, we started this support group, and we had a lot of. There was also this was called Mishpoka, and it was at our synagogue, and that we started it through for Jewish people, but anyone could come. But it was. I wanted to be associated and hopefully gather people that I was just more familiar with. And I've lost my train of thought, but.
That's, let's, can I redirect a little bit?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I just want you to know how much I appreciate that you're still in my life and that we're in a situation now where we love each other unconditionally. I think that we're closer now than we ever have been. And I'm very grateful because I know that a lot of my friends do not have their parents. A lot of my friends do not have the support of their parents. A lot of my friends who are gay and drug addicts are not nearly as lucky as I am to have parents like you and Dad that have hung in there. And that says to me a lot about how you raised me. I think you raised me to be strong, and I think that you raised me knowing, you raised me to a point where I knew that regardless of no matter what, that you loved me. I think that deep down I knew that. I think on the surface level I wasn't so sure, because until I told Dad that I was gay and he said that he loves me, I questioned it. I questioned whether or not I was loved. And
I think that was the first thing I said to you. after he told me that no matter what, it takes nothing away from the love I have for you.
So let's turn this around and turn this into a It Gets Better video for the parents of gays and lesbians. What would you say to parents of gays and lesbians that are just finding out now that their kids are gay?
What I would say is, you just don't give up on your children.
From your personal experience, what's the best thing that you did that helped you?
Getting myself educated, reading about it, talking to our rabbi, went to PFLAG.
And how quickly did it get better?
Oh, I would say that I was pretty darn comfortable with it in less than a year. I mean, it just...
So it was really hard at first.
Yes. It was hard, not that I doubted my love for you. It was just having to rethink, change, a mother and father, when they conceive a child, from that moment of conception, you have hopes and dreams for your children. And when you find out that's not going to be exactly like that, then...
But it does get better?
It gets a lot better.
Okay, because I'm trying to... We're talking to the... Basically, I'm trying to give these people hope. And going back into the story, I really talk to the parents.
I'd say just...
I mean, is it still bad?
Pardon?
Is it still bad? You can be honest.
Is it still bad?
Is it still hard?
The hardest part is...
Because it doesn't have to get better. I mean,
realizing,
we can be honest here.
For me, it's, all of our friends now are grandparents. And listen, even straight children sometimes don't get married, or they get divorced, or, they have problems with their kids and such. But I'd say that's the hardest part right now. But, still, you never know. I may one day be a grandmother, and your dad a grandfather, but
okay.
that's the hardest part. But otherwise, as far as understanding, your lifestyle and it's changed so much, a lot since you, I guess, stopped drinking, and experimenting with drugs, because you were partying a lot, and that was not...
So you didn't know I was doing it?
I didn't know you were doing that, but I knew that you were going out to bars every night, or at least that's what it appeared. So I had no idea you thought you had a problem, but you just became a nicer, more considerate, thoughtful son, I guess, after you got sober.
Okay, well, like life has obviously brought information to you in unexpected forms. Same thing with this interview. I was anticipating this to end up on a more positive, it gets better note. But it's clear that we have issues to work on still. And that's okay.
You mean grandkids?
Yeah, I mean, because it seems like there's this false hope, or that maybe we're not on the same page. Because I don't know what's in store for me. All I know is that I just want to be happy.
Well, that's the main thing for me too, is that my kids are happy and healthy, and that's